Hello everyone, I'm Shashank Batu and you're watching Race for the White House. This is our daily show where we get you the latest from America's political landscape. On today's show, we'll tell you about the high-stakes debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And also on the show, we'll tell you a little bit about how Elon Musk might end up having a role in Trump's administration if the former president gets re-elected. All of this and much more. So let's get started. Vice President Kamala Harris has agreed to the rules of the upcoming TV debate against her opponent Donald Trump, including allowing mics to be muted when it is the other person's turn to speak. Harris's campaign was unable to sway ABC News, the host of next week's presidential debate, to keep the microphones unmuted for the 90-minute debate against former President Donald Trump. However, in a letter to ABC News, the Harris campaign again laid out their objections to the muted mics condition, insisting that they believe that the vice president will be disadvantaged by the format. According to reports, the network has offered assurances to the Harris campaign that if there is significant crosstalk between Harris and Trump, so it may choose to turn on the mics so that the public can understand what is happening during the debate. The moderator will also be given instructions to discourage either candidate from interrupting constantly, and the moderator will also work to explain to viewers what is being said. In addition to that, if the microphones don't pick up the exchanges, a group of reporters who will be in the room will report anything noteworthy. After Harris's campaign agreed to the debate rules, Donald Trump said he plans to allow his opponent to speak without interruption during their presidential debate. As the stage is now set for what could be a fiery face-off for both Trump and Harris, the debate poses significant risks. Trump, who has faced criticisms for his personal attacks against Harris based on her gender and race, will need to tread carefully to avoid alienating voters. While on the other hand, Harris faces the challenge of proving her mettle in a live and unscripted setting, with limited experience in such high-pressure moments since becoming the Democratic nominee. Moving on, former President Donald Trump is stepping into the efficiency debate and teaming up with none other than Elon Musk. In a major move, Trump has announced his support for a US Government Efficiency Commission during his speech at the New York Economics Club. This commission, which will be set up if Trump wins his second term in office, aims to cut out waste and streamline the federal government by conducting a full financial and performance audit. Trump has also announced that the billionaire Elon Musk has agreed to helm this department.
Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. It's very, very much appreciated. I will create a Government Efficiency Commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. Be interesting. If he has the time, that'd be a good one to do it. But he's agreed to do it.
The idea first came up in August when Trump and Musk met for a podcast-style conversation, which was subsequently posted on X. I think we need a Government Efficiency Commission to say, like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible? Said Musk during that conversation. After that, Musk posted an image of himself on X which showed him speaking at a podium with the logo of this proposed department. But the idea has evidently interested Trump, who has now publicly backed Musk's conception of this department. Republican politicians have been focused on government inefficiency and waste as a key political talking point for decades. It has been a long-standing ambition of the Republican Party to cut the size of the US government and bring in more efficiency. Trump, in particular, has promised to drain the swamp and rid government of corruption and waste. While Trump did pledge to slash the size of the US government when he was president, the size of the government actually grew during his 4 years in office. On the campaign trail, Trump has proposed a plan to move about 100,000 officials out of the Washington, D.C. area. He also wants to make it easier to fire civil servants and also wants to reduce the independence of certain government agencies. This new effort to team up with Musk is part of Trump's efforts in this area. However, Trump has been bitterly criticized for his actions while in office. His opponents argue that he publicly and repeatedly tried to humiliate civil servants and cut government capacity rather than attempt any meaningful reform of the system. With Musk by his side on this proposal, Trump is setting the stage for what could be a major reform push if he wins the 2024 election. Now the big question is, will this partnership between Trump and Musk become a reality? And all of that depends on what happens in the presidential polls in November. Now, voters in 9 US states are deciding in November whether to add the right to abortion to their state constitutions. These measures have attracted a great deal of attention and could also bring more voters to the polls. But will it be enough to change the outcomes of elections for government offices? Take a look at our next report as we try to decode this development.
Ballot measures on abortion access could attract voters to polls in November who otherwise might sit out the election. And even a small number of additional voters could make a difference in close races for offices from the state legislature to president.
Since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022, voters in all 7 states with abortion-related ballot questions have sided with abortion rights advocates. And some political scientists say that if any ballot issue could impact November's elections, it would be abortion.
Voters in 9 states are considering measures to add the right to abortion to their state constitutions in the highest profile of many ballot measures. If ballot measures drive voter enthusiasm and alter outcomes of candidate races, it's most likely to happen in races that are tight anyway. Since 2022, when the US Supreme Court decided to eliminate a nationwide right to abortion, every statewide ballot has asked questions about reproductive rights. And now, as the presidential elections come closer, Vice President Kamala Harris last week launched a nationwide bus tour to promote reproductive freedom, which could give her a boost in her run against former President Donald Trump.
The freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do.
In a Montana race that could be crucial to determining whether Democrats keep control of the US Senate, incumbent Jon Tester, a Democrat who supports abortion rights, is in a tight race against Republican Tim Sheehy, who has criticized the ballot measure. Tester's campaign has recently released 3 new ads promoting abortion rights. There are also measures on the ballot in Nevada or Arizona, presidential battleground states where control of the state government is split between the parties.
The abortion measures are on the ballots in 2 key presidential battlegrounds, Arizona and Nevada. In Arizona, control of the state legislature could also be in play. Another state with a ballot measure is Montana, where Democratic U.S. Senator Jon Tester is in a close race for re-election against Republican Tim Sheehy. Tester has commercials emphasizing his support for abortion rights.
With 2 months until the election, the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do has now become one of the top-ranking issues amongst the American voters, who will ultimately decide the fate for the race for the White House.
Finally, we've got some stories for you that you might have missed. First, American President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, has pleaded guilty to all 9 federal tax evasion charges in a case that has been an embarrassment for the sitting US president. The 54-year-old has admitted to failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes over the past decade, money that prosecutors say that he had splurged instead on luxury living, sex workers, and a drug habit. The pleas came on the day jury selection for a trial had been due to start. And this also came hours after Hunter Biden had offered to plead guilty in the hopes of striking a deal that might keep him out of prison. Moving on, Donald Trump has told Jewish donors that they would be abandoned if Kamala Harris becomes president. In his speech to the Republican Jewish coalition in Las Vegas, the Republican presidential candidate also said he would ban refugee resettlement from terror-infested areas such as Gaza and arrest pro-Hamas thugs who engage in vandalism. Now, Republican former Congresswoman Liz Cheney has come out and said that she will vote for Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris in the upcoming election. She also called Donald Trump a danger to the Constitution. The daughter of former Vice President Dick Cheney, Liz has perhaps been Trump's highest-profile Republican critic. Liz Cheney now joins other Republicans like former Representative Adam Kinzinger and former Representative Denver Riggleman as backers of Harris. All 3 Republicans were on the January 6th committee, which investigated the January 6th Capitol riots that took place in 2021. And finally, according to reports, US Vice President Kamala Harris has left Washington for Pittsburgh, where she intends to stay to prepare for next week's debate against former President Donald Trump. Harris does not have any public events scheduled, but she is expected to take breaks from debate prep to meet voters in the area. That's all we have for you on this episode of Race for the White House. Thank you so much for watching India Today Global.